Well, hello everybody. My name is VynnackFey and welcome back to the third episode, a long overdue episode of my YouTube Minecraft Let's Play series. As I said, long overdue. It's been a long time since I have done some recording. There's been a lot of reasons for it, mostly because I've been very busy in my real life. Let's say a combination of several things. I've been very busy with both work, my real daytime job, and together with that I have been doing some home remodeling, both in the house, as you will see, and in my real house, which, believe it or not, also takes work and apparently takes a lot of time as well as effort and also money, unfortunately. But it had to be done. We made the best of it. I had a lot of help from my parents, some friends, some family. It all worked out. Right now I have a new windows, I have new electricity, I have new heating system, I have some more insulation on the attic, for instance, and stuff like that. So I'm really covered for the winter right now. And also, I am finally able to record some more Minecraft again. I'm really sorry for the delay, but it felt like, not having a lot of time to record, I would have recorded some shitty episodes anyway, so it felt like best not to record instead of recording shitty content. I've told about this before in a different episode. I think last one was also a redo of something I did earlier, so that's basically going to be my philosophy for as long as I'm going to be continuing on this. That guy over there he's not going to go away, is he? No. That's okay. He's not going to bother us for now. First things first, I'm going to show you what I have done inside the house. Not really that much has changed. As you can see, the field is still there, still going along. The walls are still kind of clean, a little bit too clean, I guess, but added some new furnaces because I was smelting to get my levels up. As you can see, I'm level 33 now. Yay! Okay, I can do an enchantment. Added some more stuff to my chests. Not sure how full they were last time I played. I didn't really check. I think there's a little bit more stuff in here though. Some potatoes, some carrots, some melons. A lot of food. But the main achievement that I have acquired over these past couple of weeks was this guy right here. This enchanting station, that has been the bane of my existence. Not so much the enchanting station. The enchanting station was pretty simple. The problem was the bookcases. The bookcases, as you know, requires both reeds, which I have plenty of. Let me see. Yeah, there's plenty of reeds there. Lots more came from the farm originally before I made these. But they also require leather, and for some reason in this world, none of the existing biomes that I had immediate access to had any cows in them, and I mean any cows. So we had to go on a journey, and it actually took me several days and several attempts to actually acquire enough leather to actually get this stuff. I had to go over 1,000 blocks out. I was over at 1,200, 500 or something like that, XC. It was really crazy to go far enough to actually get some leather for some books. I have enough now. I think I have, 22 spare, so I know more or less where to go when I need them again, but hopefully if I go to a different biome in the near future, I will have less of a trouble of actually getting this stuff, because this was a pain. Although on the other hand, I can just take up my bookcases and then just reuse them. So I guess it's not that big of a deal. The downside, of course, of actually having to travel so far is that you missed out on quite a bit of stuff, though, unfortunately. As you could guess from the fact that I have some carrots and some potatoes here, I encountered two villages, one big one, one small one, neither of which had any bookcases, though. I was really disappointed. Another reason why I had to go so far out. There was one case inside a blacksmith that had a couple diamonds, which allowed me to actually make this bad boy. There's also a diamond pick, of course, because I had obsidian right here. There's also an extra leggings, which I found. Yes, I'm getting to you. So impatient. So yeah, I'm actually quite situated. As you could see from the intro, I'm actually in full iron armor now. Again, not sure if that was the case last time. I might be repeating myself, in which case I'm very sorry. But it's very difficult to keep track when you haven't played or, well, recorded for a very long time. So those are most of the changes that happened inside inside the house here. Another thing I noticed, by the way, if you guys didn't know, the enchanting table is slightly smaller than a block. I didn't know this, but yesterday I was trying to do the double jump on top of here, and I noticed I couldn't. If you have a full block, however, you can. But because the enchanting table is a little bit smaller than a full block, you can't. Which is really interesting, and I'm really surprised that map makers haven't used this anymore in their maps. I guess it's not as obvious, and I also understand why you wouldn't really use a lot of enchanting tables as floors, but it's an interesting concept I found. Anyway, that's a tangent, my bad. So yeah, another thing I wanted to talk about is exploration. If you guys remember, during the last couple of episodes, we've had a lot of problems with exploration, finding caves and stuff like that. So if you remember from last time, I dug this huge hole into the ground in the hopes of finding a decent cave. I found this pathetic piece of shit with not really anything to go on. I dug this all the way to the bedrock in the hopes of actually finding a cave, which was for naught. I did find some interesting resources though. As you can see, the blue shining rocks right there, some nice red rocks, which we are also going to need. And apparently this is a slime chunk. So hopefully these guys are not going to bother us too much, because I would hate for them to actually go all the way up the stairs. I really have a lot of bad experiences with slimes in the past. These guys, I have left them here purposely, not because I intend to live poor, but because I want a fortune enchantment before I actually mine them. These guys are pretty hard to come by, so I intend to make the fullest advantage of them when I do find them. Alright, that said, there is another issue though. All the mining I have done was very productive, quote unquote. Not really, despite finding some resources. The one thing I haven't found though is, what's it called? Lapis lazuli. Our wonderful enchanting system now requires lapis. We have some diamonds right here. We also have some gold and some iron. We have a lot more inside these furnaces. I haven't picked it up yet because I want first to drop my levels a bit so I can get more experience from it. But no lapis, so we'll have to get that sorted out as soon as possible so we can actually mine the resources we find down below and actually get some use out of it. Let me close the door real quick so nothing can come in. I haven't really had time to provide a decent shutting system for the door. Should do that in the near future, but it's not really my priority right now. Speaking of priorities, if you remember from last time, I talked about using a book to preserve my notes. During the last couple of weeks, I've also taken the time to actually figure out what I want to do here in this particular base, and also in the larger scheme of things. I talked about the major project that I want to do, and you know, over the weeks I've given it some thought, and now I know pretty much where I want to go with things. So that's really good, and I have some, some clear directives now. And I've taken the time to actually write them in my logbook, as I'm going to call it, very uninspirationally, but we might change the title if we come up with something really clever. So, first things first, for now I'm going to leave it at noting down where my bases are. So as you can see, this is outpost number 1, which is called base camp, and the name just simply refers to, if you climb a high mountain like Mount Kilimanjaro or Mount Everest, if you will, if you're really adventurous, and those camps the mountains, sorry, they have specific base camps, and you move from base camp 1 to 2 to... Eventually, you go to the top, of course, but there are several resting points that are permanently manned, and those are called base camps. And also, because this is the original camp, I thought base camp was a pretty nice name for it. These are the coordinates. These are the coordinates that you can actually find when you stand more or less right here in front of the door. Let me check. Yeah, those are pretty much exactly the ones that I had in mind. So 170, 63, 529, 530, depending on where you stand. There you go, 530. So yeah, that's basically right here, because this is not something that I intend to remember for as long as I will be playing this Let's Play. Or, you know, this world, if the Let's Play dies out, I don't know. So as you might have been able to deduce from the fact that this is outpost number 1, there will be several outposts along the length of this Let's Play. And the main objective of that is, as I stated before, I'm actually looking for a specific biome or a specific set of features before actually I'm willing to settle down definitively and build my main project. And in order to not have to travel for the first 20 or 25 episodes, or you know, without having to spend a bunch of time going through test worlds and doing a lot of stuff off camera, I've decided to actually add some intermediate steps, pretty much. And every single one of those outposts is going to be an intermediate step towards the main objective. So this one, the one we're currently in, this is outpost number 1, and this is the first intermediate step towards the ultimate goal, the ultimate project that we are going to build. Now, before we can actually move on to the next outpost, we need to complete several objectives, and this is just a way to prevent myself from skipping straight to the end immediately and having some content for you guys, so you can actually watch something rather than having me build a wall inside, a hole inside a wall, and then just moving on after that. So every outpost will actually have a specific feature, a defining feature that will be unique for every outpost. And additionally, each and every single one of those features will be a subcomponent of the ultimate main project base. So specifically, an example of that would be farms. Specifically like wheat farms. I want to have a giant wheat farm, and also, what's it called? For making potions, netherwort farm, that's the one. So a netherwort farm, I want to have a pumpkin farm, carrots, every single one of those farms I want to have, and I'm going to try to build them both efficient and artful, or, good looking, as you might want to call it. Trying to find a balance between the two. So every single one of my outposts will have one of those features available to it. And eventually, as we move closer and closer to our ultimate goal, we'll have a lot of room to do some experimentation. For storage, for instance, that will be a very interesting one. Until ultimately we find our permanent location where we will then house all of these specific builds or subcomponents that we have built along the way. Now since this is outpost number 1, it won't really have a specific feature. This is basically to get us going. And as you can see, the objectives here are not really all that interesting. They're pretty basic. So I'm just going to go over them real quick. This is not in any ranking order or something like that. This is just a checklist for me to check whether I have all the requirements I need before I can move on to the next station. So enchanting station, this is one we already have. We have basic storage, we have a bed, we have some basic farms over there. Not really sure if I'm happy with this. I mean, these farms work just fine, and I think, well, we can also do, for instance, carrots and potatoes, but I don't really have a use for them, and I also have several stacks at the moment. As you can see, I have almost 4 stacks of potatoes. I have 2 stacks of carrots, so I think it's fairly sufficient for now, and I'm not sure if I'm actually going to build additional farms here. I don't think so. So this is also covered. We need a portal station, and this is important because we want to be able to connect all the different outposts with portals and passages through the nether. So what we want to do for this particular build is actually build the build the first portal station. that we can actually use when I have multiples to actually quickly travel from one endpoint to the next using minecarts, or if it's short enough, then we'll just walk. But you get the idea. This is basically similar to what people have done on the Minecraft server, for instance, where they connect the different locations of all the Minecrafters with a portal network or with a Minecraft minecart network. So that's basically what this is, and that's something that we still have to build. Additionally, I want a Fortune 3 pickaxe so I can actually mine a lot of useful resources. Still working on that one. A workstation, which is what we have right here, and I think we pretty much got that covered. And the last one is an ender chest. Ender chest, that's something I'm still working on. I think I have one ender pearl right here in my inventory. So I'm going to need a couple more. At least I think I do. I should look up the recipe for an ender chest because I haven't really made one before, to be honest. So ender chests and obsidian, I think those are the two things I need. And whenever that's done, whenever those things are completed, then we are free to move on to the next station, the next outpost inside our world. Okay, and in the meantime, it has gone dark. That's good. Let's just quickly sleep the night away so we can move on to the next thing on our list. So, I think that's pretty much everything that I wanted to cover. We've went over the basics, what I have done. We also explained what the objective is for the next couple of episodes. So first things first, I want to focus right now on getting a Fortune 3 pickaxe. So that's the first thing we will be doing. And for that we need lapis lazuli. And okay, that's fine. My inventory management is not what it should be, but yeah. Now, in order to find lapis lazuli, we need caves, and caves are pretty hard to come by, as it appeared to be in this world. Luckily, last episode we found something down here. If you guys remember, I actually went through this pretty swiftly because it was not really that extensive initially. Well, it didn't seem like it anyway. So yeah, there was a bit of stuff here, but it didn't really go deep enough, or so I thought. And eventually I came across a mine shaft, which is a little bit further down the line, and we'll actually go down there a little later to actually get some more resources. But the funny thing that struck me though is, and this is more like a fun short story before we actually get going, but one of the things that struck me is the proximity between the actual mine shaft that I found and the hole that I have been digging. You know what? You're gonna annoy me. Get some more mutton. Okay, so the proximity between that hole right there and this hole right here. I mean, this is what, 40 blocks apart? I go all the way to bedrock and there's an enderman. And I can't seem to find a suitable cave. Well, I did find this one, but there was really no connection between the two. And I find that so odd. This might be really stupid, although I get full iron armor, it shouldn't be an issue. There we go. So I did some experimentation, and eventually, as it turns out, the two are actually connected. Which kind of makes sense, just because they're so close to each other. I went all the way down back through here. And what I basically did is dug out these 2 blocks, and now we're exactly in the cave where we were before. So this is really a little bit further down that way is actually the entrance that where we just went down. It saddens me that I didn't actually capture that moment on video, because I was so astonished. After having to go through so many caves, having to go out of my way several hundred blocks, falling into a ravine, which almost killed me actually, without finding any suitable cave, and then I just have to remove these 2 blocks, and I'm here at a mine shaft where I can actually, get all the resources that I want. That just, blew me away. It was really both liberating and frustrating at the same time, if that makes any sense. In any case, we got pretty much what we wanted. We have a mine shaft which is easily accessible. well, actually a cave. We're not really looking for a mine shaft, but we have a cave that is easily accessible from our main base. So next thing that we're going to do is actually go through the mines, trying to get some more resources so we can actually get an enchantment to get our Fortune 3 pickaxe. Unfortunately, if you look, currently we have a Fortune 2, so we're going to have to do some tinkering to actually get what we really want, which is to be expected. I mean, this is Minecraft, we know how this works, so none of this should be too unfamiliar to you guys. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to stock up on some resources. We're going to grab some charcoal, which we're going to use for torches. We have some wood, we have some cobblestone, we have food. I have 33, that should be enough. Some cobblestone, I don't really need any more cobblestone, so let's drop that off. Okay, I'll keep the dirt because that's always useful when you're caving. Water on the bar, I don't think I need, well, let's keep the axe, that's fine. Switch that. So, now we're going to do some caving. I think I'll quickly just show you the cave, since caving is not really one of the most fun things to watch. And we're actually pretty far inside the episode as well. So what I'm going to do is actually quickly, and I really shouldn't say quickly because that's one of the things that I've learned from the construction works in my house, that whenever you say quickly, it usually takes a while longer. So yeah, I'm going to show you the mine shaft so you actually know where we are. I think it's over here somewhere. So yeah, this is the hole that we came down to. So what I'm going to do shortly is actually close this up so we only have that entrance to go through. Since there really is no point to having a ladder in front of my house if I can just go through the basement, so to speak. Yeah, here it is. So this is where the mine shaft is. It goes all the way down. We have a ravine. It's not really a ravine, but it's a big hole down there. I did a little bit of exploring. I found some gold, some iron and some coal and stuff like that. A couple of mine carts, but nothing all that fancy in there. So you lit up a little bit. And there's a spawner actually. I completely forgot about that. So tackling that is going to be a little bit tricky since there's quite a bit of distance between where we are right now and where we want to be. So yeah, that's going to be fun. So yeah, I'm going to be spending quite a bit of time down here, trying to recover as much resources as possible, trying to collect some lapis so we can do some enchanting. And I think we're going to leave that for another episode because, as I said before, we're quite far in. And I actually have a nice story to tell you guys. It's something that, it's a story from my construction works. Just something random, nothing too spectacular, but it kind of took me by surprise, and it kind of put some things in perspective for me. So without further ado, I'm going to bid you all farewell. I thank you very much for watching, and I hope to see you again next time.